need to work a little bit on discipline, and I like the fact that with pattern training, usually you're in profit pretty quick. Sport and resistance is yes and no.
Well, it depends how you play it.
Right.
Either way, if you're playing a support and resistance, I mean, you have to be smart with your risk and, keep everything documented so you can keep it well organized.
Right.
Because that takes, normally if you're playing support and resistance, I feel like your stop losses are going to be a little bit farther off.
Yes. Yep.
So, at least with pattern trading, the direction is very nice because it's a very good indicator, and as well as it really is support and resistance, or it's not really. It's strong zones of interest, like trend lines, basically.
Right.
It's very simple. That's why I like it. It's not. It's. They say keep it simple. It's very useful.
Right.
The more complicated it is, the harder it is to keep up with it.
Yeah. I can see like some of the bigger patterns, head and shoulders, that stuff is pretty easy. Triangles, so-so. But on the smaller time frames, it's harder to see. On like a 4 hour, a daily, it's easy to see.
This is true. Kind of. If you know, so where do you start on the time frames?
With like a daily and work my way down. So, I've done this
on the week.
This is how I would trade. I would set my support resistance on the daily and work my way down. And then you look for your entries in the 5 or 15 minute range.
Yeah. It's just, I like to start on the weekly.
Yeah.
Because it's like all of what the chart's been doing started like 1994. So it really gives me a good idea of direction.
Yeah.
Someone say something? Let's see. So, using support and resistance, what would you do here? Like, say we start. Okay, so you start on the daily. Where would you draw? Do you just use the extreme? Like, oh shit.
I'd be looking at peaks and valleys, but I also want to look at how many touches does it have.
Okay. So it's kind of one and the same.
Kind of.
It's just. We kind of see where you're at. Let's, Lawrence.
Hi, John.
Hello.
It's Lawrence here.
Yeah. How long you been trading, bro?
Hey, struggling a bit.
Where are you, do you know your market patterns at all? Do you know?
Yeah, well,
I'm just trying to see where you're at so I can.
I think I'm mixing things that I'm not supposed to be mixing, because I started with trend lines, resistance, support, and then now I'm starting with the patterns. So I don't know if are those two supposed to mix or not.
Not necessarily. I mean, to an extent, it's good because depending on what the pattern is, it's not necessarily support and resistance for me. Like this is a neckline.
Yeah.
The Head and Shoulders on the 4 hour. So, I mean, it's kind of one and the same, except for it's not something I really consider. It's just part of the pattern. So I'd focus more on what patterns are being presented than actual, support and resistance. But that doesn't mean, because we're still going up on the weekly, like we still go and we see, which direction it's coming, what the larger pattern is on the very highest time frames. So that gives us our ultimate direction. We know for sure it's going to go in this one direction. So then we just go down to, we just slowly break it down. And we're able to see that it's just a retrace. So, so from there, we know it's going to keep coming down. And then at that point, we wait and we see that there was the Head and Shoulders being formed. And that's where we come in, because we spot these reversals or these continuations with the triangles, we execute based off of what's being presented to us.
But then now the problem is with me and the patterns, how do you know how far you will be selling or you will be buying?
So it depends on the pattern. For instance, the triangles and the flags, it's normally, let me draw it out. The length of the push before the actual pattern, like the flag or the triangle, will normally be the distance that it'll drop down. So for instance, we can look at this triangle. Let me turn annotations back on. So we had the triangle. Now the length of the pole, because there was a previous triangle before that. So the length of this pole was the length of the breakout.
That makes sense.
Yes. So that's normally where I look for my take profits. It might be a few pips more, a few pips less, but that's generally the area that I look. I normally try and play it safer. And for like Head and Shoulders or, double tops and double bottoms, it's actually, I'll draw it out. The sides of the pattern, like from the head to the neckline, will generally be the take profit coming down.
All right.
Which correlates very well with this point down here for possibly a double bottom or something of that sort. We're on the weekly, so I'm just, you never know. But that's generally how I go about my take profits.
Okay.
I mean, how are your entries? How are you? You say you're getting mixed up.
Well, with the entries, I was actually trying to learn the stop orders, like putting an entry just above the triangle, so that I don't have to watch the whole thing the whole time.
Does it hit your stop loss a lot?
Well, a few times. I only started being serious with trading this week. I've been trying to learning the videos, the material. Only yesterday I started trying to trade on my own.
Okay. Let me. I'm looking through the trainings. What I just showed you with the pattern distances, I think the very last video has a recording of that as well. see. Oh boy. Who else we got on here? Rich and Venus. Hey Mars. I'm gonna call you Mars. I'm just kidding. Venus. All right.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sort of. To an extent.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. Is this all making any kind of sense to you?
Can you hear me now?
You can use the chat.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I'm gonna type this.
Hello.
Hello, John.
John.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sounds like a robot, but I can hear you.
Yes, he does.
Oh my goodness. Rich,
Yeah, well, yes,
how are you?
I'm okay, and you?
I'm pretty great.
No complaints.
Are you how long you been trading, brother?
Actually, I'm not trading on my real account. I'm just trading on the demo. That's why I'm
Hello.
getting a lot of profit.
That's good.
Oh my goodness. So have you been trading for a long time?
No, just a few months ago, I started trading. A few months ago, and it blew almost my literal bucks, which is almost 200 bucks. From there, I just take it easy.
All right. How are you doing? Are you doing good?
Yeah, on demo, I'm doing really good. But on real, I don't know where I'm going, went wrong, or maybe there's just a heartbeat or not. I don't know.
Yeah. How have you is there anywhere you're struggling at?
I'm sure it's because of I've got a small account which I'm afraid of, maybe.
You gotta use my advice is getting into it. And I really wish I would have taken this myself personally. Like when I first started, like it took me forever. I was so fucking hard headed that I thought I could just keep up with it in my head and I'd be all right. And I could just treat it like a hobby. But I really advise like all of you guys in here, not just you, but get like a journal, you know, start documenting what trades you're taking, you know, where your entries are, where your stop losses are going to be, where your take profits are looking to be, what kind of risk to reward ratio you have going on. The very last video, like all of that information should be documented. So you can keep up with, you know, what kind of percentages you're winning, you know, your loss percentages, you know, managing what kind of risk you're using on your account so you don't randomly blow your account is what I'm trying to prevent. And it's honestly, I've blown way too many accounts until it took me forever to just, you know, keep it organized, treat it as a business and not a hobby, and you'll be far more successful.
I'm sure another problem is we hold on too much to losses than profits.
Yeah, so if you don't have a journal or just, you know, just something to write it down. Like I have a whiteboard on my wall. Like it's just a big whiteboard and I just write shit down. And it's a lot easier because I mean, you may think you can keep up with everything in your head, but even like potential trades that I see, like patterns that are waiting to be completed on the daily, I'll write it down on my whiteboard so I don't forget it. Because before, you know, I'd see the pattern and I'd be waiting for it to break, but I would, you know, forget about it. and then I'd come back and see that it completed, and then I could have made money, but I didn't because I wasn't organized. I didn't keep track of everything.
Mm. That's the best advice.
So, John,
Yeah.
so then is it not better to have the stop orders so that in case you forget?
You say stop losses?
No,
No, pending
like a buy stop or a sell stop.
Okay. I mean, it depends because really, it's very easy for one pattern to, you know, it's for me at least. I don't like pending orders because the market really is never that precise. I mean, sometimes it can be, but a lot of the time, you know, the brokers, they really like to throw in random wicks and candles and shit.
Oh.
Like they really love, like, it can be a fucking triangle coming in perfectly, and it can just randomly come up and turn into a fucking, you know, it'll spike up before it comes down. So, or it might, you know, you might think it's
right,
and it might take your pending order, and then, you know, it comes up one more time, turns into a, you know, fucking ascending triangle.
right.
So it's better, at least for me, to at least because I'm normally on the higher time frame. So whenever I take a pattern trade, like whenever I see that this pattern broke, or, you know, a better example for me is USD JPY. Is this actually happened recently, where, you know, you would have put, you could have used your pending orders, but if you're going to do that, you have to have enough risk management to where you can have a stop loss that's a safe ways away. So the only way that you're losing out is if, you know, on the rare occurrence that it was a false breakout. But for me, I like to do market executions because I feel like I like reacting to what's happening with the current market and not depend on what my predictions are, because I change my opinion based on what's actually happening on the lower time frames.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're on the daily and you really, if it depends, I don't know if you do like more short term or are you holding long term trades. But for longer term trades, it's all right because, you know, you're not as worried about the type stop loss. But if you're on the lower time frames, like the hourly, it's probably best to just use market execution whenever the patterns break.
Okay. Okay then. No, thanks. And so many times I've seen Rich post pictures there where he puts the buy or a sell even before the breakout of the triangle.
You talking about Rick?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. He basically, you know, he understands that when this triangle's coming in, he has a certain level of confidence to where he knows that he can buy here because it'll come up. Because he's, you know, he'll get rid of the sell or the buy if it comes back down and invalidates the pattern. But I mean, the safer way is the way that I do it is whenever the pattern's coming in, just wait for a breakout. It's same with the support and resistance idea. It's market structure breaking. So it's a lot safer.
That's another thing. Remember, Rick is no longer using his capital.
Yeah, because he'll make money and he'll take out what he originally deposited, and then the risk is not as much for him. That's what I should say.
And I've seen him use or start an account maybe at $20 turn to $200. How does he do that?
Because that $20 was profit, and so he throws the highest lot possible with his broker. And if he loses it, then he didn't really lose anything because it was profit made anyway. But if he wins, it's a high lot. And just that's why he enters in the middle of the pattern, because he needs to be so precise that, you know, he's using a higher lot size, so he can't afford that drawdown. But in terms of longevity, it's smarter to, you know, calculate your risk and have a decent sized stop loss for, you know, a good size risk to reward ratio for your take profit. Oops. I'm going to do that.
Okay, now I get that. I understand it now.
So he's just a more risky trader because, you know, that's just how that's his trading style. In terms of building an account on a larger scale, it's smarter to, you know, use risk management. I mean, it's fine if you made $200 and you want to take out what you made before, and then maybe throw like $20 in a separate account, and then, you know, once you know what you're doing, you can play with that because that'll be profit made, and then because I mean, you can trade patterns off of the smaller time frames as well. So it's all the same. If you know what you're doing and it's no risk to you, then by all means. But the smartest way is to control everything. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. It's done. It's the neckline's up here though. Your neckline was kind of like it'd be like this. So that wasn't really, I don't know. Does that was that helpful at all? Did that kind of?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, you say it compounds very well too. Exactly. So, you know, he takes the pattern trades in the smaller time frames, like the minute 15. You know, he gets in, he gets out when it breaks, and then he waits for the next pattern to form, and he throws an even larger lot size because he's compounding. So it's very, very he makes it look very simple, but there's a lot that he thinks about. And he's been doing it for a while.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
You trade teacups?
Not the pattern itself, like the break of it, but I can spot it and see I use that for direction.
Yeah.
Even when there's like a teacup coming in,
Right.
there'll be patterns that come in, like, you know, in between the teacup.
Ah, okay.
Like there'll be flags and, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll use that for like, I'll spot the head and shoulders, and then I'll break the head and shoulders, and I'll see it's a teacup. So I'll trade this flag right here. And then maybe one more flag that'll push up because it's normally 3.
Right.
And then from there, it'll come down. So for directional purposes, yes, but the pattern itself, not really.
Okay.
There's another thing which is more confusing, like a pattern within a pattern. I mean, when there is a pattern within a pattern.
Always. There's always, I mean, even if you're on the minute 15 patterns, you can probably go down to the 1 minute and you'll find a pattern inside of the pattern. That's why we always start on the higher time frames.
You can find it's a buy on a daily, but you can find it's a sell on 5 minutes. Or
One more time?
I mean, you can find it's a buy on the daily pattern, the daily time frame, and then you can find it as sell on the, what I mean, on the smaller time frames.
Well, I mean, that could very well, because, it's going to come up and come down on the higher time frames. So on the smaller ones, there's going to be patterns that come in and buys and sells if you want to utilize those. You sound like a robot, Venus.
I'm sure Venus have got a problem of network. I'm sure. What is?
Yeah. So for you guys, I think for everybody in here, it's what it sounds like is you guys are really, where you're at is where you need to start organizing your risk and your entries and your take profits. I feel like the patterns are pretty easy to understand. I mean, spotting them becomes more natural as time goes on. However, the entries, take profits, risk management, that's all mental, and that kind of takes a little bit more discipline. So if that's where you're lacking, you're gonna have to hold yourself accountable, document things, be able to show your progress and spot where you're failing, where you're messing up, where you're doing good at, what you can keep doing to do better, what you can tweak here and there. You can't really do that if it's all in your head. It's not as, businesses aren't ran mentally.
I'm assuming you trade the London session.
Sessions. Yeah. You guys have a session. What is a session?
Because it seems like the patterns are more, I don't know, I see the patterns a lot better during the London session than the New York session, but the London session for me is 3 a.m.
Yeah, it depends on what pairs you're trading. So certain pairs will be active during certain trading times. So the dollar will be more active in the New York session. The euro is always more active during the London session. So the overlap from New York and London is usually the busiest time in the market. That's
right.
Whenever I trade. I'll wake up at like 5:30, and that's why I run the webinars at that time. It's because that's whenever the market's really going to start moving. So I'll look for stuff at that time, and then I'll hold it until New York closes normally, or not New York, but an hour or two after the London session closes, because the New York starts winding down. I'm in Central Time Zone, so it starts winding down at 2 o'clock or so, and then it doesn't pick up again until later that night.
Right.
And normally that's whenever the patterns will be forming. It might consolidate a lot when the market's not moving because no one's really doing anything, and the market will start moving whenever it's the session starts, and then it'll really start like midway. So it's best to I see you guys trading a lot like midday, like right now, and it's like, the markets might move because the Asian session started at 4. Nothing else is really, it's you can, but you might want to wait, like 4 hours or so.
Yeah.
And then it's not as volatile as London and New York, but you can.
Right.
So just keep that in mind as well as the sessions whenever you're looking for entries. Like don't trade in the middle of the day if the sessions aren't really, like right now, even the spread I think is probably insane.
Sorry,
John,
What's up?
can you please look at the Euro Aussie?
What about it?
And 15 minutes.
Oh shit, hold on.
Is that the descending triangle I'm looking at there? And then it looks like it did shoot up, shoot down.
I see your head and shoulders. Hold on. On the 4 hour.
No, in 15 minutes.
No, look.
Let's
So the 4 hour. I mean, really,
No, that's 4 hours you're looking at.
I know. So we know what's coming down. You're talking about the 15-minute? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was looking at something else. So essentially this, yeah. So this is a Head and Shoulders, is what I was saying. But this right here, that is descending, yes. So once this
Okay.
breaks, I don't think it'll be right now, but later on, whenever this breaks, you retest, you'll be good. Because even on the hourly,
It looks like mine did already.
what's up?
Looks like mine did already. It did break, isn't it? Is your network on?
Because keep in mind, it'll probably play and then break, and at that point, it'll be breaking this as well, the bottom. So then you can place your sell and really hold it because you're on the hourly at that point. So I don't base anything off the M15. I just use it for reference.
Oh, okay. So you usually use the higher time frames like 1 hour, 4 hours.
Okay. Appreciate it, bro. I'll come pick it up here in a little bit. Sorry, they were telling me my car's done. They're doing my tires. Yeah, so I don't do anything off of, I mean, the M15 I do, but it's just for reference. It's always off of the daily or the 4 hour, and I use the hourly because it looks a little bit clearer.
Okay.
If I may ask, I mean, quick, I'm sure before an hour right now, from right now, I
Huh?
don't know why. On my real account, the spreads will just go high. I don't know why.
Right now?
What is the time now?
The New York session just closed.
Okay,
That's-
this one is 23:21. I mean, 23:21, some quarter to 12.
Yeah.
On
You
my-
need go to what I'm looking at right here. Like convert GMT to your time, and these are the session hours. These are whenever these 3 times are the most active market hours. Whenever they overlap, or really whenever they overlap, are the most active market hours. But the very beginning and the very end of these sessions are a little bit slower. So
I don't know about for you guys, but for 5 p.m. for me is a new trading day, is when they restart.
yeah, it just depends on your time zone. So you gotta convert. Just go into Google and type in where you're at and convert it to GMT. Like I can do Texas. You can literally just Google it. It's the easiest thing in the world.
What
But
I
if-
mean, mine in 30 minutes time right now, the spreads will shoot high.
Because it's a new day. I don't know. Every new day between for me for 5 and 6, the spreads are ridiculous.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah,
That's just whenever you're not supposed to be. If you're not in the higher time frames and holding it for like a week or 2, there's no reason to be in the market during that time.
right.
Unless you're in a lot of profit and you know it's going to keep going in the direction, so you just take it for a little bit. But I try not to. How long has this been going on? I've been recording this whole time.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did. So USDJQI, I think we went over this last night. I don't know how many of you guys have watched the video. It's coming up on the daily. It broke that pattern, or the symmetrical on the daily. Oops. So tonight we'll be looking at it to be bullish. Well, the rest of this week, I should say, and next week. Oops.
Which would pretty much mean that Euro USD would be going down.
Exactly. So the euro broke out on the 4 hour. Really, I'll start on the daily so you guys can see. We were looking at it earlier, the head and shoulders. So I draw my line. It looks like, oops. This, oops. Like that triangle, the symmetrical was broken. It retested. Just made it second.
Did you guys take that trade?
Huh?
Did you guys take the
Yeah.
Euro US dollar?
Uh-huh. And so
Okay.
it broke here. So at this point, I mean, it's 4:30. So I wouldn't touch it right now. It's probably going to form something. It might come up and retest this because I don't feel like it has. If not, it's still going to form, I feel like, a flag or a triangle. I'm going to probably make another push down. So that'll be later on tonight. I think Rick will have another webinar before then, so we'll be keeping updated on that.
Okay.
Let me see. USD JPY the same. I feel like because here. It broke out. Same with the euro. So possibly a retest, or this is a 4 hour. So if I go down, and this was broken, so possibly a retest down to here, or because that was down here, and I feel like that retest was. But I see an inverse head and shoulders, so this will be later on this afternoon as well. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I look at just a couple of pairs for the week, just so it's not like I just keep up with 2 or 3. Hold on to them.
So that broke and retested. Did you guys take that one, the US dollar yen?
When? I bought it down here.
Sorry?
Because I was, last week we talked about how it broke and it retested. And I said, because we talked about it when it was down here. And I knew it was retesting. So it came up. I was still holding on to it. It came down, retest one more time because it's forming this triangle. So, I bought again down here. And then long term, I'm just holding on to it. But in terms of on the hourly, no, I haven't gotten in right now recently.
Okay.
I will probably be looking for another entry here pretty soon, as soon as the markets start really moving again.
All right. And then can you guys please just update us in the group if there are any pairs that you guys are watching and are looking into getting into, so we can also take them with you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
like I did see that you posted that we must watch the when was it?
I mean, I can try. However, I feel like I need to find you guys. I used to have an app that alerted me whenever the market reached a certain price.
Yeah, I knew about that, but I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's if you can find one of those, it might be helpful. But I mean, I'll help you guys out when it comes to spotting these, and I'll give you where I'll enter. And I'll try and keep you updated whenever I actually enter. But my ultimate goal is for you to be able to execute on your own as well.
Yeah.
So
I can.
I try and lead you to the lake a little bit, and then just maybe let you find the water and drink it.
Yeah.
In a
I can
sense.
get that.
I mean,
But can I ask you something?
no. Yes, of course.
On the screen there, it's certain indicators. Do you actually check them or just ignore that?
Huh?
Certain indicators there on your screen.
Certain indicators. I don't have any indicators.
On top of the screen, there is something: compare indicators, templates, alert, replay.
Oh, you're asking what are indicators?
No, what I am actually asking is, do you actually check them so that you can support what you are seeing on the charts or what?
I don't know. I mean, they're kind of lagging in a sense, so it's not good to trade based off of them. But I mean, if you really just add an extra layer of complication. However, they can, it depends on how you use them, personally. Don't base your decision off of them, but if you want to support your patterns with it, then by all means. I don't know what kind you're using, but generally that's how it works. I personally do not know.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
John, one more question.
Yeah.
It's Lawrence here. I see on the hourly chart the US dollar yen is forming a triangle, symmetrical.
Where? You can draw.
Is it me or is it really forming it?
You can draw on my screen. Click annotate.
Can I draw on your screen?
Yeah.
Well, thing is, I see it better on my screen than yours.
That is a flag there.
See.
Okay, maybe I'm seeing my own things. Okay, I'll send a picture of what I'm talking about on Telegram.
Okay.
Okay. Just send it.
You didn't draw it. Are you talking about this?
It's a small flag, I'm sure.
Just a moment.
Is that what
Yes.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Not right now, no. I mean, it's forming something. Because you'll see, I wouldn't call it anything yet. Because, I mean, it came up, came down, now it's coming back up. So it's still, market's not doing anything right now. So we wait till later tonight. It might form it because that's how it starts. But, you can do an ascending triangle or a flag. So I'll just
Okay. I'm busy trying to draw something, and then I'll send it now again. On Telegram.
okay.
Did you see the picture? The picture I just sent now. Where I have a circle, do I start drawing from there when I draw the symmetrical?
No,
Okay.
this is just
Great.
push.
Okay then. All right. Now, thanks, man.
Yeah. Okay. I don't even know if YouTube's gonna let me upload this. This is a long ass video. I suppose I'm gonna process this and upload it, so get some kind of value out of it. Does it kind of help you guys, give you an idea of what you need to do moving forward?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
The problem that
Organization is key.
Tradesway is still refusing for us to open it.
All right, I'm gonna upload this and put it on the website. I started. All the webinars are going on the website under the archives stuff.
All right, cool. Thank you.
All right, see you on the room.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.